You know what's funny? I have been playing for decades, playing classical guitar for decades, and I'm still working on getting my chord changes faster. That's exactly the same thing that I was doing in my first week of practicing the guitar, was trying to learn a couple chords and then get them smooth at switching back and forth. And I'm much faster at those chords now, but I'm still working on shifting between chords and just trying to get chords smooth and connected. And they're just a lifetime study. But why do it? Because they're so useful in all of music, because pieces are made of chords. Chords are how the guitar speaks. It's the reason that we can have one note over-ringing another is because of chords. So they're so powerful, and they're so good, and they're so worth practicing. And you can just keep getting better and better at them. In this video, I invite you to watch a bunch of short tips on practicing chords, changing chords, learning chords, all about chords. These are short form videos that we've compiled for you all on the topic of chords. And so before we dive into those, if you'd like something new to play in your practice, then I invite you to look below and get this book of 30 great little pieces. They're chock full of chords. You can notice how the chords create the music, create those tunes, and practice your chords there. So get that book, have some new music in your practice, and enjoy it. So now let's dive into the magical world of chords. Technical guitar tip of the day: whenever you're playing with your left hand, try to press the string right behind the fret, not way back here away from the fret, but right behind the fret. And that is going to take the least amount of finger power to press it down. It's going to be the clearest, the least chance of it buzzing. So right on the tip of your finger and right behind the fret. Now, if you're playing a chord like an A chord, well then more than one finger are playing on the same fret. And when you do that, then you might have to tilt your hand a little bit this way so that everything can get up to the fret. And so that's just something that you'll have to do to make that happen. But whenever you're playing a scale pattern as well, each note, think about right behind the fret, and you'll just be ripping in no time. To speed up your chord changes, what most people do is they place the fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. So on a C chord, it would be first, and then the second one, and then the third one. Instead, you can change that order in your practice, and you can switch up the order and do it in every possible different order. But the most useful one for pieces of music is to play the lowest string first and then put the other ones on, because typically that's the way it's going to happen if you're strumming through it or rolling the chord. You want to place that bass note on the beat anyway. And so then if you can think about playing from the lowest sounding strings, the fattest strings, up to the highest sounding strings or the thinnest strings, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll speed up your chord changes, you'll learn them much quicker, and it'll sound better in your pieces. Here's a tip: when you're learning new chords, you can bounce on them. And what does that even mean? You can take your chord, let's say that this is our new chord, lovely chord. So instead of just putting it on same way every time and just hoping for the best, what you can do, put those fingers on there, loosely, just touch the strings, and then bounce, press and then release, and press and then release. So you're just loading the fingers and unloading, loading and unloading. And the brain really likes this to learn new things. This technique is oftentimes used in physical therapy when people have had strokes, to retrain the fingers to do things. So you load the fingers with pressure, and then you release, load the pressure and release, and then take the hand away and put it back on. Take the hand away, put it back on. You can also take the hand away and then just hover right above, and then press, and then take the hand away, hover right above, and then press, and test yourself. These are proprioception exercises, and you can learn your chords much more quickly when you use them. Here's how to balance a chord on the classical guitar. Balancing a chord means that we bring one note out. So you've noticed this is 3 notes. This is them all even. And then this is the top note out, middle note, bottom note. This is called chord balance. And the way that we do that is that you just place your fingers really nice and light on all the strings, and then you poke one finger out just a little bit more than the others. So we're just gonna poke one finger out and just let it slide off the side of the string if you like, or just press down into the string more, and then just close the hand from the big knuckle. And just close all together. You don't have to try to play that finger louder or anything else. It's just because it's grabbing more string, it will be louder. So this is a wonderful practice whenever you're playing songs, then you can bring the melody out if you balance your chords really beautifully. Here's some tips to get your F chord nice and clean. F chord, because it has these two barred notes here, you play two fingers with the first string. For most people playing the guitar, this one is tricky. And so here is a tip. First off, let your hand drop down a little bit so that this third finger is curved instead of straight like this. So instead of this up here, bring it down, just let it hang like this, and then press back up into your guitar with the side of the first finger. So instead of playing with the meat of the first finger, play with the side of the first finger. And just practice that, and then put the next string in, the two finger, and then put that three finger in. And chances are, if you just practice this, it will eventually fall into place, and you won't know what you did differently. It'll be kind of funky and buzzy for a little while, and then all of a sudden, it'll just start working. So just keep at it. Hey, here's a little tip for your bar chords. When you're playing a bar chord, you put your first finger over a fret, and then you put other fingers down, and then you press it all together. Well, if you take that first finger and you tighten the skin on it by rolling it backwards, so you push it there and then kind of torque it back so that the skin is getting tight under there, like rolling a bedsheet or a burrito, then that's going to tighten up that skin. It'll make it easier to press those notes down. And then you come up here like this. And then you can have it much cleaner. So whenever you're doing it, don't just press flat on your bar chord. Instead, give it a little bit of back pressure. And you do that by turning your hand this way. So you're giving a little bit of torque like that, tightening that skin. So that will make it clearer for all the notes that you're playing. Good luck. When you're playing chords, you can sometimes clip the last note of the chord. So that last note, whenever you're changing to a new chord, here's the trick. Whenever you're doing this, listen for that last note. Just listen for duration. You don't have to do anything different with your fingers, but just listen for duration on it. Listen to the length of that note. And it'll just help you to hold on to it just a little bit longer. So don't try to change what your fingers are doing. Instead, just listen and listen for the duration of that last note, and you'll still get to the new chord on time. It'll be fine. You don't need to jump early. And that's the trick. Just listen. Here's a tip for playing chords with less tension in them so that you can hold them for longer. And that is practice emptying all of your tension out between each chord. And you can actually put a little stop in there in your practice, not when you're playing with people or anything. You can play a chord and then you can pause, release all your tension. And in this moment between chords, practice just like you were just throwing it all down. Release all the tension and then go to the other one. And then once you let go of that one, practice emptying all of the weight completely in between the chords. And when you do that, then you'll be able to find that. You'll get fast at emptying, and then you can empty with just a little bounce. And you can get really fast at emptying, and that will help you in your tension playing chords. Well, all right. I hope you found something useful in these tips, something you can implement in your practice immediately to good effect. And if you would like to get some new music to play in your practice for your sight reading or just for some new project that you'd like to work on, then I invite you to download these 30 fun and charismatic pieces for solo guitar. They've got notation and tabs and the chords written in, and also listen links so you can hear it before you learn it if you would like to. So check it out and download that for free if you would like. And best of luck in all of your practice, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.